What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to Pop Health. And today we're gonna be talking about Neurodivergent Nate. Now, he is a TikTok content creator that has been drumming up a lot of support on his takes about parenting. And what look about his channel, as like you'll see today, a lot of it is just surface level stuff about like common sense stuff you should do or you shouldn't do, but it lacks a lot of context and research behind it. So we're going to dive deep into that today.
Maternity leave should not be expected. You expect a company to absorb your
Damn.
position, then pay for your maternity leave because you decided to have a kid.
That's not necessarily what maternity leave is for. By the way, this is also not the original video. He took it down for obvious reasons. He was getting a lot of probably hate for it. But maternity leave is not just for this.
It should not be the company's responsibility.
Surprise, the man is telling us that women are the ones that are selfish and wrong for wanting some sort of leave, and that we should rely more on the men if we really want that leave. First of all, yes, a man does have a duty to provide for his children,
Yeah,
but
he sure will.
in this day and age, that is such a like out of touch take. Most people can barely afford rent, let alone 6 weeks unpaid leave. So this is going to put women into a position where there is no other way for them to make money other than to just go straight back to work after having a baby.
Yep.
It is not realistic to just expect every man to be able to support a wife and a child at home alone.
And it's too expensive to be doing that. Like you said, rent is high, electricity high. Having a kid, even in a hospital, is ridiculous. And the thing that a lot of people don't understand with maternity leave is just like that's if everything goes okay. That's if everything goes okay. But at least 50% of the time, there's gonna be some type of complication that happens during, the childbirth, and pretty much, mom can't just go back to work. She has to recover. Like, for example, my mom, she spent a few months before and after in the hospital after she had me and my brother. And so she couldn't go to work. We had to get the whole village involved to take care and help my dad take care of us while she was recovering in the hospital. And even when she got home, she had to recover, and let alone postpartum. Like, maternity leave isn't just for parents to have this vacation, whatever, just to bond with their children. A lot of times it's actually needed. Like, it's a medical reason why it's needed. And so that's why a lot of people are going against this take, because it's just like you got all these other countries in the background. They are so ready to give out maternity leave. Estonia, really generous, 86 weeks. And I'm pretty sure the US doesn't give out any.
And I'm sorry,
at least paid.
Right in the sense.
And I know a lot of people gonna get in conversation and say like, well, it's your choice to have a child. It's your choice to have a child. I'm like, yeah, that's how the world functions, unfortunately. Because at the end of the day, the US is experiencing a population crisis. There has been recent declines of fertility and immigration have slowed the growth in the share of children in the population, and there has also been an accelerated increase in the U.S. population, especially when it comes to older adults. And to put it in the terms of just having a pyramid to understand a stable population, basically this is pre-reproductive, reproductive, and post-reproductive. You don't want to get to a point where you're in a declining population where you have a lot of middle-aged adults and a lot more geriatric, older aging adults, and you have less kids. That is a declining population. And so a lot of people, the reason they're not having kids and stuff is pretty much more so about like cost. It is cost to have a kid. It is costly to take out the health insurance, the healthcare, and all that. It's costly to raise a kid overall. And just the way Gen Alpha is forming right now, amalgamation of other reasons other than parenting, I'll give you that. But the rate that this generation is forming right now, the young generation, a lot of people don't want to have kids. A lot of people, my generation, Gen Z, don't want to have kids. And so we need as many incentives for people to have kids as much as possible. And this is one of these incentives that help leave those burdens, because having a kid, yes, that is a personal choice, but at the end of the day, it provides a betterment of our society.
That are going to come from me saying, Nate, you're a man. You can't speak on this. You're the same women that will say that a trans woman with the full face of a fucking beard can go into a bathroom with a little girl and say, this saves lives. Yet here you are advocating for unaliving children in the womb.
Because if you can't live outside the womb, you're not considered a human being. Like, biologically, you need to have biological, I think I'm just making this word up, but biological autonomy. Basically, what I'm trying to put into words is like you need to have like viability outside of the womb to be able to live like that. You're not having no viability outside of just 8 to 9 months. Like, it's 7 months is pushing it. But it's just this whole debate about, are you unaliving a human being? Like, no, you're not unaliving a human being. Like, it's literally like a clump of cells. It's a fetus. And so looking at the Pew Research Center, a very renowned center, Basically looking at it, basically there were the last year for which the CDC reported yearly national total of abortions is 2021. It found that there were 625,978 abortions in District of Columbia in 46 states with available data that year, up from almost 600,000 in those states. The corresponding figure of 2019 was 607,000. No, this might be a lot of numbers. This might be a lot of abortions, but it has actually steadily decreased from 1990. Basically, it has steadily declined. It was a lot higher, y'all. Calm down. It was a lot higher. Trust me, we ain't doing as much as we used to. To about 622,000 within 2021, and that has probably more and more decreased, not only just because people are not having people are having more education about sex or intercourse, but pretty much also the access to restriction to abortion has been increasing over the years, especially when Roe v. Wade got overturned. The majority of abortions now involve pills. They're not going to a clinic to get the baby get out. The fetus ripped out. I'm not trying to be graphic. The CDC says 56 of U.S. abortions in 2021 involved pills, up from 53% in 2020. Now, when we talk about surgical abortions conducted during the first trimester, this ain't the third trimester. This isn't right up to the baby gets out. This is the first trimester. Typically use a suction process, while relatively few surgical abortions that occur, or the relatively few abortion surgeries that occur in the second trimester of a pregnancy, typically use a process called dilation and evacuation. And just followed up this research, the vast majority of abortions occur during the first trimester of a pregnancy. The baby is not viable. I will tell you this, the fetus is not viable in the first trimester of a pregnancy. It is not a human being. Abortions happen for many number of reasons. Like, the pregnancy isn't viable, the mother can't take it, it's a high-risk pregnancy, or people simply just don't want to have a kid, or like the situation changed that people don't want to have a kid. And the thing that I don't like about Nate's channel is that he directly points this stuff at mothers. All this video is about mothers, but they never really talk about the dads in the situation. They don't talk about how men need to do better. He's called mothers trashy parenting, when there's a lot of dudes that are very trashy parents. And I'm not talking about fatherless children or fathers that step out. I'm also not talking about fathers within the home, because a lot of people don't realize just because the father is in the home, we shouldn't just look into that. I've known many fathers growing up, in my little suburb town and going to college, whatever. I've known many fathers that they might be present in the home, but they're not emotionally present. They're only financially present. They barely probably financially present. They are cheating on their wives with mistresses. They are harming their children in many ways I'm not going to talk about here, or I don't want to get demonetized later on down the line. Like, it's to the end of the point where it's just like, fathers there's a lot of cruddy fathers out here. And it's just like, why are we just focusing on the mothers right here? Like, his whole content page is focused solely on mothers. Like, you can't see a father in sight. Well, this one, that's one of the exceptions. But literally, most of his videos you go down here is pretty much about mothers, like EBT moms, welfare queens, all this stuff like that too, pushing about these harsh narratives about folks that literally, like, does not tell the whole picture about entire, community or entire policy.
Animal control thinking it's funny. Trans species, are you kidding me? Trashy parenting.
So here's the thing, that account was a joke account. Like, I can't find her account, but if y'all can just find her account and just go to it, this is a joke account.
Trans species, are you kiddting me?
Like, and this man having a serious take on it.
You let your son identify as a cat and shit and piss in a box, then act surprised.
Like, it's one of those things where it's just like, this man is trying to take a serious take, trying to bully kids, or just trying to bully mothers, when it's actually a joke account. Like, this is her account right here. This said this is a satire account.
Please stop calling animal
Like, this is the actual video.
3 separate times this week, animal control has knocked on my door.
Like, this is like an actual satire account, and like Nate just had a whole video about it and does not do his research on stuff at all. This is the most dangerous type of creator, because it's one of those things where it's just like, you don't know what's real, what's fake, and you're making videos over people. You could potentially ruin people's lives because you want to be you want to be hopsy-turvy on some content. But with that being said, that has been Pop Health for today. If you like what you see today, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, all that wonderful good stuff. And you want to see one of my last videos I've done that where I discovered Neurodivergent Nate, is going to be right here about my video about unschooling. But with that being said, stay warm, stay frosty, and part of the country in, and peace out.